What's going on, 75junction? We have a special guest today. This is Quay. She's a visual artist based out of Newport News, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about yourself? And for those who don't know you, just who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is JaQuay Copeland. I'm a visual artist. I'm based in Newport News. I've been painting since I was a little girl. I specialize in oil painting, drawings, anything like that. Um, I typically work on large scale pictures. I do murals as well. I do
Okay.
live art. So like I'll go to like weddings and things like that and paint as I'm working. Um, and my Instagram is at QUAYCOPE. There you can see a few of my most recent pictures and things like that. That's just of it.
Okay, so yeah, I saw some of your work in Richmond at this shop. I forgot what it was called, but
Workshop.
workshop. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you painted like it was like three. It was three walls, or was it?
Yeah, there were three. Well, including the ceiling, so it's four.
Okay.
But yeah, three walls. My friend Sean, he started that back in, I think it was June of last year, and it's basically like a platform for creatives to just come and like they can teach their skills and things like that.
Okay.
But he said they were opening a studio, so at the time it was just a blank canvas. So he said, "Hey, do you want to paint this?" So I said, "Okay." So I started it in September, and I worked on it on the weekends. But I started it in September, finished it in November, and then and from there, like it's gradually gained more traction. So
Awesome.
but yeah, so he just wanted me to paint notable people from Virginia, which was up my alley. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
And you had Pharrell up there. You had
Yeah, it
was it
was
Missy as well?
Pharrell, Missy, Timberland, who else? Chris Brown and Trey Songz.
Okay.
I was
Dope.
trying to pick and choose like which ones, but I narrowed it down to those five.
No,
But
yeah, those are definitely the bigger ones, like especially for entertainment and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you got your, Michael Vicks and Ray Allen's.
that's
but,
what I was trying to figure
I
out.
mean,
Like,
not
which
Ray
one
Allen's,
should-
Allen Iverson. I'm sorry.
Which one should I put up there? But yeah, I just chose those five because musically at least, and then Pusha T. But I was like, I don't know who to
Right,
do. But,
right. No, I got you. It's definitely toss up.
yeah.
It's definitely toss up. But you have opportunity to do more in the future if that's what you choose. So how long did that take you to paint?
I logged my hours during the first half. So when I was halfway through, I was at about 100 hours or so. So
Wow.
I assume just under 200 or at 200, but
Okay.
it doesn't feel like it when I'm painting. Like I zone out completely. So that's why I told you like I need to start resting because it's like I'm a machine almost. Like when I do start painting, like I really don't stop until like I'm physically like I can't paint anymore. Like so, but yeah, it took about 100 hours or so. Well, 200 hours roughly. So
Okay. I got you. Impressive. So full time, what do you do outside of doing the painting?
doing the painting. So I work as a design consultant, so I help people design like their kitchens and bathrooms and things like that. So I went to school for interior design. The design that's just under art for me, but art is my first love. But I love both decorating and design. Honestly, anything creative, like it doesn't have to be just art and design, but those are my top two. But anything creative, like
Okay.
I just pretty much love to do.
Nice. And how long have you been painting for?
I started painting when I was 6. I'll be 27 this year, Lord willing. So. So technically, since I was little, I didn't start oil paintings until 2012.
Okay.
But so growing up, all I did was pretty much just experiment with different mediums and styles. And then once I was in school, I just felt myself narrowing it down to portraiture and then specifically oil paintings. I do other things too, but that's my favorite niche to work on. So
Okay. So so oil is your preferred type of paint to use. Oil based. It's oil based, correct? So what are some of the different types? Like, I mean, you got like water based too, right? And things like that.
Well, so water-based paints, that's like acrylic paint. So that's the paint that I use when I do live art. So that's like the paint for the mural. So
Okay.
it doesn't look as realistic as oil paint. It dries a lot faster. So that's why I typically use it for events and things like that. But oil paintings, the ones that I do, they take me about 2 months or so to create like a large format painting. You have to paint them in layers. So you can't just work on it every single day. You have to let it dry and then continue to work on it. So it's a long process, but I feel like the end product is better than how my acrylic paintings turn out. So I just like the way it makes the paintings look. It makes it pop. And I use acrylic on the backgrounds, and then oil for the faces just to make it juxtaposed to.
Okay, because it makes it look more lifelike with the oil, I'm assuming, because humans are naturally oily, but oil reflects light better than the water-based, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I got you. Okay, that's awesome. That's pretty dope. So when it comes to the creative process, how does that work for you as far as like sitting down and like do you just look at somebody and you're like, I want to paint them, or is it sometimes like on a more on a whim kind of setup, like where you just paint something random?
A little bit of both. More often than not, something sparks my interest about a certain person, and I only paint people. It's not just like celebrities, but it's like I really paint people that inspire me heavily, like in some way, shape, or form, where they'd be like they're a light to like everyone that they interact with, or their like their work ethic or something to that effect. But so something will spark my interest, and then I'll find like a reference photo, and then from there I'll just change it all up pretty much just to make it my own. But yeah, so the creative process for me, I'll choose a photo, pick a layout, and then from there it's pretty organic. I really don't say I'm going to use these colors, and it just all flows like as I'm working on it. So it's pretty organic for the most part.
Okay. So did you always start off with painting, or was it like starting off as drawing or like crowns and stuff like that?
You mean like when I'm creating the actual...
Well, when you like when you started younger, like what got you in the lane of painting? Was it always painting, or did you just start drawing and then like start coloring with crayons? And
let's see, when I was well, I found out I could draw when I was 6. That started out as a drawing, and then right after that, they had me do like a large door painting. So I don't really know what got me into painting specifically. I think it might have been my college course. I did take a painting class, and then she prompted us to work larger, and I really enjoyed that. So I think that, if I can remember correctly, I think that's what prompted me to start taking it a lot more seriously. So I would say the college course that I had probably prompted me to do that.
Okay, that's impressive. And you went to VCU, correct?
Yeah, I went to VCU.
Okay.
I majored in interior design, but art is my true passion.
Okay, right. So kind of interior design. Your mindset behind getting into that, was it based off of the art and the creative process and being able to create something out of essentially nothing? Or
I think so. Like I think that's what I'm drawn towards. Like, or even if there are like bits and pieces here and there, like using seemingly random things to make something unique or beautiful. So I think they both serve the same process in a sense. So I think so.
Okay. And do you feel like when you create and you paint, do you feel like that helps you channel your emotions and kind of put it into your art?
Yes. So my art for me is like, that's been my therapy all of my life. Like, and I always feel bad for like people that don't have like a outlet like that, because it's so expressive, and like I have to paint to music. So I use music, art, prayer, like everything, just to, like, it just all comes out on the canvas. And then I feel so much better like after a few hours of just painting. It really is therapeutic. So yeah, it's definitely my therapy for sure.
Okay, that's good. Now, when it comes to putting your emotions into your art, do you feel like it will skew your art sometimes, like in the sense, like if you're not feeling very good, like if you're feeling sad, or do you feel like that makes the art that much more powerful because it gets to basically personify what you're feeling?
It's interesting because I've noticed like the times where I'm feeling like the saddest or the most angry, and I start painting, like those paintings tend to turn out the best versus the ones where like I'm pretty good or whatever. So yeah, I feel like sadness or turmoil or anything like that really just pushes whatever is inside out, and it makes it a lot better than my normal paintings, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, that's dope, because like a lot of people don't understand that, you know, they need to channel their emotions out somehow, because a lot of people bottle it up and then they don't have anywhere to let it out, and that leads to other problems in the future, whether it be personal or relationships or whatever the case may be. When
I was younger, my mom, she said, because I used to bottle everything up, and then one day like I exploded. She was like, you can't do that. And so from then she elaborated, but from then on, like I started speaking out like my frustrations and things like that, instead of holding everything in and then letting it out on the canvas and just everything. So, but yeah, you definitely can't hold on to everything.
Okay, well, let's talk about your setup. So what's your setup like for your paintings? Like, do you have like a dedicated room, or is it a section within a room? Or?
Yeah, so it's a section within a room. So
Okay.
typically in my bedroom. Sometimes I'll paint in my living room, but yeah, it's typically just in my bedroom, and I just prop up my canvas. The canvases I've been using now are roughly 3 feet by 4 feet. So
Okay.
so sometimes I'll hang it on my wall when I feel like standing up, and then I'll have my my tray table, and then just my paint. It's a really simple setup, but so and then sometimes when I sit down, I just prop it on the floor. The easels that I have, they're too small to actually fit that size of a canvas. So when I just sit down and lean it up against the wall, it works well. So
Okay. Okay, I got you. Now, what's the most difficult part about painting, in your opinion?
for me, it's actually making it like the drawing part. Drawing for me is really difficult. The painting part, like the blending and coloring, that's a fun part for me. But actually drawing the person out and making it actually look like the person, that's the most difficult part. Like some artists, like they're so good at just making it look exactly like who it is that they're painting, and I'm like, well, and I accept that that's not my strong point, but that is the most difficult part for me. It's really, really hard.
No, because I mean, so I used to draw a lot when I was younger, but it wasn't anything like realistic. Like I tried to do a self-portrait before, it came out terrible. But drawing is definitely very difficult, and being able to get like the right curve, like the curvature of their face, like the lines, the details, like all that stuff is so important. And when you're painting it, does it like, do you have to like color between the like in between the lines kind of, and like
I use when I draw so I draw with the paint first, and then I start filling it in. So once you fill it in, that actually gives more notion to how they're actually going to look, but I don't necessarily have to stay inside of the lines. Like I'm just like all over the place, honestly. So but I just use the lines as a guide. It's not like a set in stone place to where I have to fill it in. So I feel like if I did do that, I would feel too confined. Like it wouldn't feel like a freely moving process. Like I would just have to stay in the lines, and I don't do well with that.
I got you. So is it something? I assume it might be a little bit more forgiving in the sense, like if you're painting the lines, like you can just use the background to kind of come in on the lines if it's like protruding too much or anything like that.
And like with paint, so like I'll put the base colors on the faces first, and then say if I went over like a certain area that I wanted to, I'll use like white paint to like kind of erase it. So it's really flexible in terms of how you can create things actually on the canvas. So it's not like a set in stone type of thing.
Okay, that's awesome. That's dope. I never would have. It's like I wanted to like get into painting, and I was thinking about maybe setting something up in my office, but I was like, is it messy? Like how is the process of like painting? Like, is it very messy or?
Yeah. So if like I typically have like designated pants and shirts just for painting, because like as I'm painting, like I'll paint, and then either I'll have like an old washcloth where I'll dab the brush onto it, or like I'll just do it on my pants and then just keep going. But like it's just to keep the process moving, because if I have to stop and do this or that, like it just breaks my flow. So yeah, it is messy. Oil paints, those don't drip like acrylic paints do. Acrylic paints, those don't come out of your clothes. So but oil paints, if you get them in your clothes, they can technically wash out depending on how much of it is in it. But yeah, it's definitely messy. I should use a tarp on my floor, but I don't have a good habit of doing that.
Is it like a wood floor or carpet?
No, it's carpet. So
I'm
gonna have to get it redone.
Probably. Oh man.
But it's just all right. It's okay.
I got you. Yeah, no, I mean messy is definitely I mean from the painting that I've done, I mean I've painted the room, like I paint like walls and stuff, but obviously that's a very different process. But I always like throw it on a tarp and stuff, because paint always drips, especially with this type of paint. It's always dripping.
Yeah, like house paint and acrylic paint, I don't know about house paint, but I know acrylic paint, at least it dries really fast. So but even if it does drip, like if it's on a hard surface, you can just wipe it up with soap and water. But oil paint, I don't know that comes out of carpet though. But acrylic paint, that's not I typically don't get that anywhere in my place, just oil paint.
Okay, I got you. Do you ever find yourself like in a like creative slump, or like where you have like these like creative blocks at any point in time?
Yeah, I typically draw paint from observation, but even with that, there's some days where I'm just like, this isn't working out well for some reason or another, and I can typically never pinpoint exactly what it is, but but on those days I'll just pause and give myself a break and then come back to it. But I've noticed a lot of the times too, like I have to like, I don't always feel like painting either, so even when I don't, like I just force myself to do it, and when I start doing it, it actually gives me more energy.
Okay.
Like as I'm doing it, yeah.
I got you. So that's kind of how you push through that creative block or that slump.
Yep.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Impressive. Now, when it comes to doing your painting, what's like your favorite thing? So obviously you do like a lot of portraits and things like that. Have you done like any landscape or anything like that?
Yeah. So growing up, so from age 6 to about 20 or so, that all that time was dealt doing landscapes, animals, like anything like that. Like I really experimented, like full blown. But like I just realized like I think I love portraiture because it challenges me. Like that's the hardest thing for me personally to do. Like the other things, they don't really challenge me. It's like you just put the paint on and then it's done. But like with portraiture, like you really have to really not think about it, but you just have to be really mindful of what you're doing, because if something is like a millimeter off, like it can throw off the whole thing. So it's really challenging for me. That's why I like it, because then once you conquer that, it's like I can do, it gives you more confidence too. Like I can I can do this and that. Like I think that's why I enjoyed the mural so much, because I didn't know. I was like, I've never done portraits this large before, so
because you have to
like,
blow
I don't know
everything
how
up.
this is about to work, but I'm gonna try it. And it worked. I think it worked out okay. So
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
do you have like any walls in your house personally painted?
no.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that was like kind of like just a one-time ordeal.
Just a one time, yeah.
Okay.
I rent, so so they're not gonna let me do that. But when I do get a home or whatever, I'm definitely gonna paint for sure. But
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. So when it comes to like murals, like would you be open to doing like another mural, like, or on a larger scale? Because like you see like the ones like in Richmond, like they'll have a whole side of a building.
I've been thinking about that. I'm like, okay, well, I'm co-nature, so I don't know if I want to be outside, but I wouldn't let that stop me from putting art like in public or whatever. But I have thought about it. I would be interested in trying it. There's a woman in she's with the Suffolk something, I can't remember the company name, but I'm supposed to get back with her about these mural projects throughout Suffolk, so I don't know if they'll have me doing something outside or not, but I'm definitely open to it. I think it would be fun and interesting to see like how it would turn out, since I've never done one outside. I've only done interior.
I got you. Okay, so would you be like, are you open like for commissions and stuff like that? Like if somebody reached out to you personally, like to, I don't know, paint them or paint somebody that they liked?
Yeah, I do commission work, so I do so I can do murals, pictures of like people's family members, everything like that. So it's all on my site. But yeah, I do custom artwork too.
Okay. And what's your website?
It's www.artistry.org, ARDESTRI.org.
Okay. So what possessed you to like change up the spelling? Was it just like to make it like your own thing and make it unique, or?
Honestly, no. It was the trademark. I was like, because I just wanted to call it artistry, but I was searching through. I was like, I can't use it.
Yeah, I figured it's such a common name that somebody had to have got it at some point.
Yeah, but it was funny because the company I have, the artistry company I have now, that was actually like just to keep the momentum going for my first company, which was called Paint with Purpose. So with that, I received an email saying you can no longer use anything with this name. There was a company, I don't know what state it was from, but they have a foundation with a similar name. So their paralegal, she said, hey, you can't use anything with that, this or that. And I was like, well, I was able to get the business name and everything registered. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. So basically I had to stop using that. And so I was freaking out. I was like, okay, just figure out how to leverage it. So I figured I would put all of my services under one umbrella. So I was like, okay, artistry. So then I thought of it and I said, okay, I'll just name it this, and then it went from there. But I'm actually in the process of rebranding. This is artistry. It's not what I want it to be. So
okay.
But yeah, it's definitely harder process than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the hardest part with any business or with anything conceptually is coming up with the name, because like, I mean, obviously, doing the work and all that stuff is
Yeah.
difficult, but the name, just the creative process of coming up with the name, finding something that's not already
Mm-hmm.
taken, like all that stuff, it's very difficult. Like 75 Junction, like I came up with that like on the fly, like
See,
just throwing stuff out there, trying to make it something that kind of
be different.
pointed to what
Yeah.
the purpose or the area location of the podcast was. I mean, I was trying to kind of embody that and just trying to find out what I want to use,
But
right?
I like the name though. It's like it's different. I haven't heard anything like this, so
Yeah,
But,
no, it definitely rolls off the tongue well. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna roll with this one.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
good though. But yeah, I was like, I did not know it's gonna be this hard. But it's a learning process, and
Mm-hmm.
from the 2 that I have started so far, it's like I've learned so many lessons. So like of like what not to do. So I feel like it's actually been beneficial versus not. So
That's great.
yeah.
That's really good. Now, have any of the artists that you've like painted, like have they like recognized your work or anything like that?
Yeah, so last year was actually kind of neat. So when I did the mural, Chris Brown and Trey Songz, they both commented and liked on it.
Oh wow.
And then earlier last year, I live painted at a brunch every Sunday, and I didn't even know he was coming in there, but the guy, he was like, hey, we have to move this around because Trey Songz is about to come in. I was like, wait, what?
What?
So it was out of nowhere. So I was just live painting. They came in, and then they set them at a table, him and his entourage or whatever, at a table, and they were just eating lunch. And then he took a picture with me and my work, and gave me like words of encouragement and everything.
That's awesome.
And then let's see, Michael B. Jordan last year, he didn't comment or anything, but he liked 4 of the pictures that I had of him on my profile, and then Missy and Big Sean, they liked 2 of the pictures that I had them in. So I was like, this is kind of neat. I mean, like, I don't care, like I don't do stuff for likes or anything like that. I just thought it was neat.
No,
like,
I mean it's just cool to get recognized for your work. You know what I'm saying? Because you work hard on it. It's something that you put time and effort into. So obviously, you'd want to get some type of recognition for it.
It's just neat. I was like, oh, this is just like out of like millions of people, like I was just like, oh.
You're like, how did they find this out of all the stuff that's out there?
I tagged them in the picture just to tag them. Like I never thought they would actually like see it, honestly, but it's like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like hit or miss, kind of like shot in the dark, trying to get in contact with celebrities or try to get them to notice your stuff. Like I've reached out to like Missy and Pusha T. I think I sent Pharrell something, but it's very difficult for them to filter through the stuff, and filter through, all their messages, because
it's so true. I can't imagine like how many notifications and things like that they have. So that's why I didn't really think they would respond, but they did. So I was like, this is nice.
Yeah, you got to figure it'd be annoying at some point, because as soon as you upload a picture, your phone is just blowing up. So like I'll probably just turn notifications off from my app.
I can't imagine like what, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, with the artwork, do you see yourself like, where do you see yourself in 5 years with the art? Like, do you want to have it to the point where you can have like apprentices and like have your own like art workshop, or?
Yeah. So, well, I'm in terms of like rebranding. Like, I eventually want to have my own. I not similar to workshop, but not exactly. So, I want to have a place where people can come and I'll teach like paint and sip events and things like that. And I want to include like a mentorship place where inside of it where I teach young girls about art. Because growing up, I didn't know until I was 23 that my dad was an artist. So like I always wondered, like I never saw it modeled. So I feel like being a mentor, like I could use like my business as a platform to help like young girls. So, and then with my personal art, I really would want to just have people buy my originals, and then but in terms of what I want to do to give back, I want to do like the paint and sips, and use a lot of the proceeds from those to fund like philanthropic efforts and things like that. So I don't have it all singled out yet, but I know the gist of what I want.
The direction that you want to go in with it.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like now, like in this season at least, like I'm supposed to just keep producing. Like that's why, like I told you, I'm like a machine. So
right.
I feel like I'm just supposed to keep producing, at least like while I have the time and the energy to do so, because I don't know if it'll change in a few years or not. So
right.
I'm just trying to take advantage of this season that I'm in. So
now, do you feel like you're wearing yourself out with that? Like...
Yes, I need to. It's always good to take one day out of the week to just relax. So So I started doing that. I started it and then I fell off a little bit, but this past week really hit me hard. Like I need to slow down. I need to slow down, and like I feel like I'm a doer, so like I like to be productive, but so when I'm not, it feels like I feel kind of guilty in a sense, like, oh, I didn't do anything today.
I understand 100%.
I didn't do anything today, but like someone's like, no, like you can take one day out of the week, like it's not gonna kill you, and like if I'm not in good health to in like the years to come because of what I'm doing now to my body, it's like that's not going to be beneficial for anybody. So
absolutely,
I think now while I'm young, just start while I'm young, taking advantage of the time, the health, like everything like that, so that in the future, like I'll be set up to succeed.
Right.
So,
and to continue doing what you want to do and stuff like that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people don't realize. Actually, not a lot of people do realize how difficult it is to do what you love to do on top of having a job. Now, if your job is what you love to do, then that's great.
Right.
But a lot of people don't love their job, and a lot of people don't get to do it. So, like, when you're not working, you're working, you know?
I feel like that's why you need passion for whatever it is that you like to do. Like that, for me, that's like, those are like my, it's like a backup generator for me, honestly. It's like, those are like reserves that I'm operating on, because it takes so much out of you in terms of like the daily job, and then coming home, like, technically, like I really don't have any energy when I get home, but it's like the passion like just fuels me. Like I this is what I want to. This is what I want to do. I don't want to do the 9 to 5 or whatever. Like this is what I want to do. So that I feel like you really do have to have passion for what you want to do, and it'll show through your work too. Like
right, if
you do or if you don't. So yeah, you definitely need some of that for it.
Okay, nice. Now you said your father was an artist. So, does he still do artwork or?
Not that I know of. I just my uncle. So his brother told me when I turned 23, he called me on my birthday. We were just talking. He's like, "Yeah, your dad used to draw." I was like, "Wait, what?" I said, "What? What? I know this." But yeah. So I really don't know. I saw him in December, and he said he used to sketch, but I don't think he still does it now. But I'm not too sure, but I know I have a cousin on that side that she's an artist too, so I assume it came from that side of the family. Okay. But yeah, growing up, I was like, why am I the only one? Like, what is going on?
No, I hear you.
But I think it's beneficial because it makes me want to teach younger, and specifically Black girls, like how that they can do art. Like they don't have to just do this or that because society tells you can't succeed in that. It's like, yes, you can. You just have to work really hard, know what you're doing, like get help, like everything like that. So
my next question was going to be, what advice would you give to people that want to start art, but that seems like kind of
I get so excited. So so yeah, if you do want to start, just start small. You have to start somewhere. Like for me personally, like I started when I was 6, so it's like the stuff that people see now, that's like 20 years of work. So it's like you have to start somewhere, but you really have to be consistent. Like that's one thing that I haven't done is stop. Like regardless of how many years or how much money I did or didn't have or just what, like I always found some way, shape, or form to create, whether it's just drawing with a pencil and a paper, or like doing something. Like you have to be consistent. That's probably that's probably the foremost point that I can stress. It's just being consistent, and you have to work hard and know that it will pay off eventually. You won't see the fruits of what you're planning right now out of the blue. I mean, in certain cases maybe, but like out of the blue, like it really does take a lot of sowing, and then you'll see a sprout, and then like it'll be a full blown tree eventually. So but yeah, I would just say and take it seriously if you are going to do it. For me personally, I put 100%, like when I do something, I put 100% of myself into it. That's why I'm so like out of energy a lot. But when I choose to do something, it's like 100%. Like I don't want to do anything halfway. So if you are going to do it, just make sure you're for it. And then, and it's okay to not know what your next step is. Like I've found that when you just follow, like I feel like God gives me like breadcrumbs in a sense. So it's like in terms of like events or like meeting new people, like they've all led to like these new opportunities regarding art too. So and I feel like all of these platforms have led me to be able to like speak and help people that I never would have thought of just from doing what I love to do. So So yeah, just take it one day at a time.
Okay.
Experiment as much as you can, and then you'll find. And if it's your passion, like, just go for it. Go for it.
Okay. No, it's definitely sound advice. It's definitely good advice. 'Cause a lot of people don't know where to start or what direction to go in. So I think the hardest part doing anything is just starting it. So if you can start it, then it'll go from there.
And I will say too, please don't compare yourself to other people, because that
Yeah.
I feel, especially in this day and age with social media, like everybody's like, oh, I can't do this or that. I'm like, no, just like for me, like I have tunnel vision. That's why like I'm just like, I have tunnel vision. I don't look at, I mean, like I'll look at artists that inspire me and look at like how they've done like certain things, but I don't compare them in the sense that I'm beating myself up because mine doesn't look like his or hers. It's like, no, like you have what you can handle. Like you have your set of skills for a specific reason, whether you think it's down here or up here. It's like, don't compare yourself. Please don't, because I feel like that will really delay people from starting what they want to do, especially since you can see what everybody's doing now. It's like, you just please don't compare yourself.
Absolutely, especially with social media, because a lot of people majority post their successes. They don't post the failures. They don't post the trials and tribulations. So you don't see all of the behind the scenes. You just see the end product. You don't know everything that happened to get there, though. So that's part of the whole process and what people need to realize. Because, I mean, looking at that stuff will depress you, and it will put you in a slump and make you not want to do what you want to do.
I feel like once you take that first step into like comparison, like it'll just snowball, and then you're like sad and just like, no. Like when I was younger, I think when I was in Maryland, like I was in that state, so like I deleted my social media for like 2 years, and then when I moved back to Virginia, I was like, okay, I'm like built up internally to a place now where like I can look at other people's successes and not feel like I failed just because they are succeeding. So but yeah, I think comparison, that really has a big thing to do with people not starting their passions, and then also to like money comparison, anything like that. Like if it's what you're meant to do, like you'll eventually do it, but you have to do your part. Like you have to start it, just start, and then keep it going little by little. So you'll be surprised like what God can do with like a little bit. Like like perfect example, like all I've used is like a canvas, paint thinner, and that's about it, and just start it. And then I started using my Instagram to just put them up, but I kept doing it. And then the more you work on what your gifts are, the more you work on it, the better you'll become. Like and I feel like in 2017, that's when I feel like my skill exploded from where I was before, just from like constantly working on it. And it's like you can do anything, so just be consistent, work really really hard, and just you have to believe in yourself too, because like for me, like society, they'll tell you, oh, you can't do art and blah blah blah, and it's like deep down I'm like, I think I'm supposed to paint, like I think I'm supposed to do this. So just like taking sound advice, like take constructive criticism, but don't let every piece of advice like filter into what you're supposed to do if it's not constructive, I guess. So just know what's for you is for you, and it won't pass you by. So
cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so before we wrap up, do you have anything else that you'd like to add into the interview, or anything that you want to like pinpoint?
Sure. Just work hard. Everything is a journey.
Definitely.
Things take time. Know that you're not alone in your struggle. Like I've met a couple artists like through DM that are just like, yeah, I've been struggling, blah blah blah. It's like, so it's just eye opening. Like you're not alone. Every day is a struggle, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You will get through even if you just inch, but you have to push through. This guy named Vernon Gordon, he said, someone's waiting on your story. So, which is so true. It's like, that's why you have to keep going. Like even though the trials, they might seem like they're overwhelming you, just continue to push forward, because it'll help. You don't know how many people it'll help.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
if you keep going, and especially like with your passion and things like that, like once you get through all of these tests, it'll be worth it. So
okay, awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming out. I
you.
definitely appreciate you coming out. Make sure you guys follow Quay on social media. Make sure you guys check out her website and check out her artwork. She's super dope.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you coming out once again.
Thank you.
All right.